Well, I tend to favor stories that are inspirational, which often means that they have an emotional impact as well. I enjoy stories that are relevant to situations that I encounter in my personal life. For me, choosing my favorite storyteller is not difficult. It has always and always has to be Steve Jobs. For millennia, stories have shaped and inspired the progress of society. A masterful storyteller with the right story to tell can work magic in our minds. And I remember Steve Jobs once said, and I quote, "The most powerful person in the world is a storyteller. The storyteller sets a vision, values, and agenda for an entire generation that is to come." Steve actually, and in fact certainly, proved this to be true, and his words continue to inspire many in our attempts to use story to communicate the beauty of ideas. Now, perhaps the best examples of Jobs' virtuosity in inspiring others was his 2007 introductions of the very first iPhone to the world. Jobs knew that great stories are both memorable and motivational. They touch us emotionally and resonate deep within our soul. Jobs instinctively understood that he didn't need to simply sell a product. He needed to create disciples who would make his story their own, retelling it over and over again with such strong personal conviction. Now, this personal appropriations of the story is what would make Apple today still the great company that it has been decades. A few years ago, I wanted to experience a new audio-based brand campaign called The Art of Travel. With headphones in my ears, I slowly walked in one of Shanghai's Nongtang, or alleyway houses if you like. Now, winding my way through living history inspired me to slow down and refocus my thoughts on what exactly is really essential to my life. That journey, curated by Louis Vuitton, touched my heart. Now, I felt more connected to life as I finished my stroll. LV had actually captured the essence of the brand. To travel is to live. And I was drawn into their beautiful story, and I made it mine. Which then brings up a very important point about brands and storytelling. See, people don't really care about your story, they care about their very own story. So, a brand must build a story that is based and centered on the customer. A story in which the customer is the hero, not the brand. And this reflects a sea change in the concepts of marketing. Businesses must place their customers at the very center of a heroic story. Now, if we do so, then our customers will become the hero, and that leads us into the new era and new definitions of growth. But this only happened if brands make the customer's story stand above their own. The art of a good story is not always a smooth one. In truth, our stories are often filled with conflicts, struggles, setbacks, and of course, successes. Brands must not be afraid to tell true stories about themselves. Now, once customers understand the passion and heart that went into creating and building the brand, then they will be absorbed into the story, as I was with Louis Vuitton's. In an age where technology is often considered the panacea that cures all illnesses, we must also not forget that there is a symbiosis relationship between technology and the human consciousness. As one evolves, so must the other. Now, marketing strategies must never forget that story that connects the most is the one that shows us what it is to be human. Now, our pace of the world constantly increases, and we are overly automated, digitally driven, and most often than not, spiritually impoverished. We demand convenience and instant gratifications, but often than not, the trade-off is the increasingly scarce touch of another human. The magic of brand storytelling is that it weaves together the facts which are delivered by technology, and the emotions which are the products of humanity into an evocative and cohesive narrative. It combines the why buy reasons with the human story behind the brand, why it exists and why it matters. Now, these elements should be consistently told across all communications. Brand storytelling is no longer a nice-to-have luxury, rather a must-have component that works to maximize visibility, brand impact, and profits. Use storytelling as the compass that guides your marketing strategy. The results will be a brand that both captivates and profits. Well, to be honest, I don't accept that there is a deficit of attention. Rather, the challenge lies in the proliferations of customer touchpoints. The marketplace today is inundated. Content is being created in the tens of millions, with more going online every day. So, how do we differentiate ourselves from all the others? In a sea of sameness, brands must become unforgettable. Quality products or services are not sufficient. It is qualities of a brand's storytelling that separates us from the crowd. What emotions do you want to consistently evoke in your audience when they interact with your brands? Your audience will quickly forget what is being said, but they will never forget how you make them feel when you said it. Why is that feeling so important? Well, it is important because emotions drive purchases much more than logic. Transform your brand into an experience that your audience literally consumes. Convert customers to see your products or services as a means to solve a problem into a triumph that enables your success, steadfastly follows you, and is resolutely loyal time after time. Effective storytelling that builds brands is human-centric. Consumers today demand that companies demonstrate how they positively impact society or support a worthwhile cause. Companies are expected to achieve impactful results that go beyond profits. Now, the irony of all this is that knowing a company cares about something other than profit incentivizes customers to buy more from the company. So mission statements matters. The cliche of wanting to change the world becomes relevant again when consumers see that brands are actually behaving according to their stated mission and values. Consumers gravitate towards brands that feel human. Now, how can a business create a long-term brand loyalty? 3 simple steps are all that is necessary to achieve such allegiance. Firstly, businesses must understand the inherent human craving for connections, and then wrap their vision into a story that is both beautiful and captivating, and finally clearly communicate this story to their audience via an effective, honest, and heartfelt marketing strategy. As society crosses the threshold from an industrial civilization to one that is digital civilization, there are 3 keywords that are vital for brand leaders around the world to remember. First of all, technology. Marketing technology is a major component in upgrading value creation's capabilities, which in turn makes marketing technology critical to effective brand storytelling. Now, the fact is that very soon, the technology of artificial intelligence will be at the core of every analytics and business decisions. Now, how can organizations transform themselves to empower and enable AI to deliver on brand promise? Answering that questions will bring about the single most important competitive advantage that organizations will soon be able to build upon. Now, the second key word is craftsmanship. Storytelling is an ancient and proven art form, and this digital era does not change that fact. Storytellers of earlier ages were craftsmen, constantly honing their skills, and craftsmanship requires patience, persistency, and of course, a strong, passionate dedication to the pursuit of perfection. Like craftsmen must make quality paramount, we must seek to constantly improve how our message relates to and resonates with consumers. True craftsmanship is not only about an art, but also a science, one requiring structured and logical thinking. The blendings of scientific approach to marketing in both our creative planning and results measurements will result in a marriage of creativity-centered art to a science-enabled craftsmanship. And finally, the final key word is trust. In the digital era, brand storytelling is not about more efficiently and more professionally talking about a brand, nor is it simply about the custodianships of the brand. Today, our fundamental responsibility is to be the trustee of the brand. And to achieve this, we must raise the standards of our ethics to create a credible brand image and then serve as a loyal and trustworthy guardians of the customer's interests.